contentious debate among liberals, neoliberals, liberals, Democrats, and non-Democrats alike, libertarians, Green Party guys, etc., who are trying to decide how are we going to deal with this Donald Trump thing going forward. As you guys know, in previous videos, I was one of the most vociferous arguers for keeping accountability in government. And I think that that should be the theme going forward, both with Bodies of Truth and just in your everyday lives. You want to be able to hold government accountable for the things that they do so that we can have A, transparency, and B, so we can formulate a strategy in order to be able to get the things that we want, right? In order for us to be able to achieve our idealized design of society, right? That's going to require cooperation. That's going to require us reaching across the aisle with people that we ordinarily would not have conversations with. It would also require an open-mindedness to new ideas, new information, and we should be constantly evolving, all of us. With that being said, it also requires us to become unbridled. It also requires us to detach ourselves from our biases. You know, we have to do that. And that's difficult, especially when you have passionate, vehement hatred towards any candidate or any political figure. And I venture to say that no one genuinely hates any of these political figures, right? Because you don't actually know these people. You know caricatures of them, and you know what you've heard about them via research, but you don't know them on a personal level. However, I think that you can have an inkling of understanding about them about their personal identities via their actions, right? So, for instance, when Hillary Clinton argued on behalf of corporate donors in order to have Haiti's minimum wage lowered from, I think the unions there were arguing for 61 cents an hour, which was, I mean, that's a lot. If you come to think about it, I mean, they may just make, like, in an 8-hour workday, like freaking, what, $5, $5-6, you know, that's fucking crazy. But she knocked that down to 32 cents an hour. So when people look at, when I look at that kind of a background, that makes me think, oh, you know, that's a little morally deprived, you know. Or when you are very aggressive about advocating for military intervention by way of, well, bombs, strategies that aren't contingent upon peaceful relief efforts, right? In other words, there are strategies that consist of bombing people and nothing else really. Bombing, shooting, stabbing, flaming, whatever the heck you want to do. Ending human life, right? I'm against those kind of interventionist policies. I feel as though any time that we intervene, and this is just my personal feelings on morality, if we are to intervene, it should be not only from a standpoint of peace and propagating peace around the world. It should be in the most non-violent, non-aggressive way possible. It should be something as unaggressive as giving people books instead of bombs, right? Dropping care packages on cities instead of nuclear weapons, you know? So those are my personal philosophies. And that sort of gives me a window into what their personalities are like. So when we go forward and we're arguing for our positions, we should always keep that in mind, that we're arguing for positions. Our goal is to create our idealized design of society, right? We're trying to accomplish what we want to see our children and our children's children grow up in. And quite honestly, we're fighting for the survival of our species. If you believe in what the scientists are saying, if you believe in what science and research and the data and the information that we've been able to collate over the decades of hundreds of years of research into our planet, as well as into the dangers of climate change, then you realize that, yes, we have an impending disaster on our hands that could be detrimental to the health and well-being of our posterity, and we have to do something fast, now, not incrementally. We have to make dramatic change quickly. So with that being said, I am not afraid to reach across the aisle in order to make that kind of make that kind of progress, and that requires us being honest in our conversations about even the people that we think that we despise, right? Even the people that we think are our political opponents. We have to decide to make crossroads on areas where we can actually agree in order to progress to a greater society to where our children can survive. And I think people who have children are able to understand this a little bit better. I'm not going to limit the conversation to those people, but I think it's really easy to comprehend if you have some stake, if you have some skin in the game. For me, for instance, I will criticize Donald Trump on every single shred of corruption that he has. I'll criticize people on the things that they do, the things that I see them do that are actual violations of the law, violations of just decency and ethics. Those are things that we need to hold people accountable for. I'm not going to engage in the rabbit race. I'm not going to engage in the phony charades that I know that the mainstream media is perpetuating. This is the same mainstream media that brought us Donald Trump to begin with, right? In order to manipulate us to vote for their candidate. So please believe that they're going to continue to create stories in order for us to, follow the red herrings into whatever direction that they want us to go in, so that we vote accordingly. And the thing is, the reason why we know they're going to continue down this road is because they haven't changed their positions yet, right? For instance, the Democratic Party are still nominating people who are historical corporatists. Like, they're still putting people at the front of the line for that stuff. Even the best guy, Keith Ellison, that Bernie Sanders is, I guess championing, has a background in being a corporate, shill for Wall Street. So they haven't learned their lesson completely yet, the Democratic Party. And quite frankly, in my opinion, I think that's a rotting corpse. I think that we're going to have to just create a new party. But that's another topic of conversation. The point that I'm making in this video is, for one, we shouldn't be discouraged by having rigorous debate with other people. We shouldn't be discouraged by hearing other people's ideas that are different from ours. And we most of all should feel invigorated to reach across the aisle, to talk to people, to have conversations with people with differences of opinion, so we can actually progress on the issues that matter the most, which is... I mean, I know this sounds hyperbolic, but it really is the survival of our species. And I'm not just talking about a few elite millionaires or billionaires who have the money to pay for a damn bunker in Antarctica or whatever, and with 1,000 years worth of food supplies. I'm talking about all of us, and that's very important to me. So, naturally. So I think that those issues are incredibly important. If there are ways that we could find crossroads on, getting things done, like legalizing narcotics, I want to do that. Even though one of Obama's appointees actually said something very discouraging about weed. He said something like, no self-respecting person would smoke weed or something like that. And he got appointed to a very privileged position that requires oversight in that area. And plus, Donald Trump right now, it looks like he's being very critical of the FDA, which I like, but only the food regulatory part of it. Which, I mean, there is some deep corruption in that area, but I mean, dude, it's the drugs. Everybody knows the drug part of the FDA is where all the corruption is, or where the vast majority of it is, and even seeps into the food part. So there are those things. That's what I just wanted to clarify and wanted to talk about. Make sure that you guys could hear the bothersome truth from me directly, because this is what I want to bring to you guys. This is what I want to bring to the show. And if you guys have any ideas, what you want to see me talk about, you want to see me elaborate more on, you can always email us at bothersometruth@gmail.com. You can comment in the comment box below, and we can talk about those issues there. And I love to be able to debate any issues that you may have. Just have rigorous conversation about it. You can just post in the comment box, and I'll make sure to hit a reply video to that post. So this is Emmanuel Morel with Bothersome Truth, and I'm out.